felt like everything I knew was destroyed because these people never existed in my brain, because I was conditioned to believe that you could not be Black and a conservative. You could not be gay and a conservative. And I bought into it hook, line, and sinker because I was being bombarded with that message every single day, multiple times a day. And through that whole time of being brainwashed and being lied to, I believed that I was something that I probably wasn't. And that was a liberal. I was also irrationally angry when I heard Donald Trump's name, like irrationally, emotionally triggered. And I recently learned that this is an actual condition with a name called Trump Derangement Syndrome, TDS. Welcome to my TED Talk. Why did I think that I was a liberal? Well, first of all, because I wasn't racist or gayist or classist. In fact, so much so that I was a lesbian for a couple years. I dated only Black boys for most of my high school career. I also spent my senior year of high school, where I was only 17 and not even going to be old enough to vote, like campaigning and rooting for Bill Clinton. And it's not because I knew anything about policy at all. I mean, literally, I saw him on Arsenio Hall. I saw him on MTV. I thought he was handsome and charismatic, and so he won the popularity contest. I believed I was a liberal because I believe that welfare is a necessary part of a good infrastructure. I grew up on welfare. When I started working, it started to bother me how many people actually made a career out of being on welfare rather than using it as a stepping stone. So I voted in the 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2020 elections as a Democrat because I believed I was a liberal. After the 2020 election, I was done. I turned off the news. I muted most political pages on social media. I was exhausted. One, I believed that things were going to get back to normal. And I was getting sick of hearing about frivolous lawsuits on Trump. It just felt like an unnecessary waste of money. And I knew that it was politically charged. I mean, I'm not stupid. And I was just exhausted, emotionally, physically drained. From 2016 to 2023, I watched a lot of my so-called liberal friends dox people, dox businesses. I even did it to a nurse. I emailed her boss and told them that she was racist. Thankfully, she forgave me. I had to think about how I was treating other people and, kind of reassess who I was, because I didn't like who I had become. And I felt paranoid and over emotional. And there was nothing going on in my personal life at the time where I should have been acting like this. But what I was watching was something that couldn't reconcile in my brain, because what these people said that they believed in, inclusion, diversity, all of these things that compile a liberal profile, were not reconciling with their actions and how they were treating people. And I really felt angry about how I had been and how I had been reacting to people. In 2021, I got a promotion. I moved to a lower cost of living area of Pennsylvania. And I didn't incur any new debt in 4 years. Everything was within my original budget. And here we are 4 years later, and I have nothing to show for my bonuses and raises. Nothing. Because it all went to the inflated cost of living. And so when people say that they're angry about inflation, that is something that I am actually upset about. It impacts me. I feel it. So then in December of 2023, I decided to start a podcast, and I had to get active on social media, right? And I started to meet and see these creators who didn't share my political beliefs, but they made sense. Their message was hitting me at the core of my being. I was able to listen to them without my filter bias on, and it was making sense. Oh, and then I started to learn that there were some social media personalities that I didn't necessarily like whenever I was liberal because I was brainwashed to not like them, to not listen to them. So for example, Tucker Carlson, I think he is brilliant and hilarious. He could do just stand up as a profession. I can't believe that I just wrote him off for what my friends were saying and didn't take the time to listen to some of his content or look at some of what he was saying. And again, I was upset and I felt like I missed out on some really cool conversations that I have to go back and watch now because the old me never would have I would have cringed at his name. And then I started to learn through my social media interactions that there was actually Black Republicans. What? And there were LGBTQ Republicans, like whole groups of them. And again, I felt like I was duped. I felt like everything I knew was destroyed because these people never existed in my brain because I was conditioned to believe that you could not be Black and a conservative. You could not be gay and a conservative. And I bought into it hook, line, and sinker because I was being bombarded with that message every single day, multiple times a day. And through that whole time of being brainwashed and being lied to, I believed that I was something that I probably wasn't. And that was a liberal. I was also irrationally angry when I heard Donald Trump's name, like irrationally, emotionally triggered. And I recently learned that this is an actual condition with a name called Trump Derangement Syndrome, TDS. And if anyone is opening a class action lawsuit against the media and social media, certain social media platforms anyway, I am happy to jump on that bandwagon. You know, my TDS didn't even make sense because like in my younger days, I loved Trump. I was a huge fan of The Apprentice and I was going through college as an adult single mother at the time. And that show had me believing that I could be a badass businesswoman. And I am. So, yeah, it didn't make sense. And yeah, he said some over the top stuff back then, but it was entertainment. It was meant for entertainment purposes. But I see it for what it is now. And I'm embarrassed that I was duped, but I'm here to publicly say that people can grow and learn from their mistakes. And I have. So when I created my social media profiles for the podcast, I really batted around whether or not I was going to say anything politically. I kept for the first month or two when I was doing lives, I would say that I was Switzerland. But it didn't feel right to say that either because I do have a message and I do have things to say and I want to be able to voice my opinion. And I also wanted to distance myself from the left that was becoming increasingly more fringe. The fringe on both sides have been dictating the narrative for years, and we have to stop and come together as the humans in the center that we are, and have some conversations. And I've been able to get much better at that through, again, turning off the noise, the background noise of media for years and years. I could probably cite a million little one-off reasons that got me to where I am today. Like, how did I get to walking away after essentially being a lifelong Democrat? That's what it was, right? But was I really? I mean, all the signs were kind of there. I love country music. I do. I listen to it all the time. Don't judge me. I firmly believe in 2A. And everything that stands for. I believe in small government. So yeah, I mean, I have been in the center kind of for a long time. And the fringe has pushed me over the edge. But there were two incidents that really kind of sealed the deal for me too. One was Butler. Because who you are or what you stand for politically, to be disappointed that someone did not lose their life. I have no purpose for you in my life. You are a garbage human being. And I've seen some people that I respected and thought were good people say on social media that they were disappointed that the shooter missed. And I think it's disgusting. The other straw that broke the camel's back is so funny. Theo Vaughn. So, it came out shortly after the Butler thing. To be quite honest with you, I probably asked my husband 100 times during that interview, are we in the upside down right now? Trump was a human being and had good advice and he was even, and nothing he said was like over the top or outrageous. And Theo Von even practiced self-control, which I was proud of him for doing as well. But at the end of the day, I felt the humanity in Trump, and I gained a new respect for him, for some of the answers that he gave to the questions in that podcast, to be honest with you. And so I basically came out the next day on social media as a Trump supporter, and I did get a little bit of flack for it, but honestly, I don't feel like I've walked away, because more than the flack I've gotten for dumping the left, I've actually walked towards something way better, way better. And if I had to sum it up in like one small message, it's that I've been a victim in life. We're all victims of something. We've all been a victim. But the one thing that I choose to be is a survivor. And so I have to ask myself, are you on team victim or are you on team survivor? And I choose team survivor all day, every day, which is why I chose to walk away.
For more great videos, download the Walkaway Social app at walkawaysocial.com. Share your testimonial and join our community.